So I know Tech Time no longer exists, but we'll still give it a minute or two before we officially get started. And then I guess for a little bit of housekeeping, if you do have questions, I believe that the chat is disabled, but you are able to answer or to put your questions in the chat, and I will answer them out loud or potentially even type them. And of course, you can always email me or stop by the M&M 722 if you have any questions throughout between here and the day of Design Expo. All right, so I guess with that, we will go ahead and get started so that we can be sure to stay on time and again, offer plenty of time for questions either throughout or at the end of this presentation. As you may have noticed, we are recording today, and this video will be available on our Design Expo website either tomorrow or on Friday. And then once the recording is all set, then you will also receive email communication from the Design Expo committee so designexpo@mtu.edu or directly from my email, which is bctucker@mtu.edu. So with that, I want to get started off with really offering a very big thank you to all of the student teams who have registered to participate in the Design Expo. This year is our 23rd Expo here at Michigan Tech, and it would be impossible to do my job without all of you for signing up and for being willing to put your hard work out there for our Michigan Tech community to not only see it and learn from it, but also, again, to recognize how much you've put into the work that you've created over the last year, and for some of our enterprise teams over the last couple of years. And so, again, thank you so much for participating and for coming to this information session. And so with that, Design Expo will be on April 18th, Tuesday, April 18th. And we'll go a little bit into detail of what that will look like. But essentially, Design Expo consists of two things. Three if you include the video, but it consists of the student showcase, and that is where you will have space either in the OP library or the Mud Ballroom to present your work. And then after that, we will have a social hour planned by a Public Honors College student and an award ceremony as, again, a way to recognize how much you have done this past year. And so that social hour and the award ceremony will be in the Rose Center for Performing Arts. And so essentially what this looks like is on Monday, April 17th, your videos will be available for the community at large to watch and to begin the Design Expo process, which is to offer you judging on the video and then in person on the following day. And so the folks that will have access to your videos, again, they will be uploaded on YouTube. And so they will be made available to the community at large, but the judges will also use that as a part of the scoring process for Expo. What's pretty cool is that over the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of looking at Design Expo videos from past years, and we've seen videos that have had over 2,000 hits on them. And so it is a really cool and easy opportunity for you to put your work out there and share it far and wide. And so that showcase, the virtual showcase, will be open on Monday by 2 p.m. And that will primarily be on the Design Expo website, as well as YouTube will host the videos. And so then we go to the actual day of Expo, which again is Tuesday, April 18th. And so that is where all of the student teams, enterprise, student design, and the student projects will be in person physically in the library or the Mud Ballroom. And then that is 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we'll transition, we'll take a 30-minute break to break down your tables, to transition over to the Rosé, where there will be light refreshments, a live band, as well as different entertainment options to kind of wind down from the day and give us time to transition into the award ceremony. And so in order to get you prepared for the Design Expo, the library has kicked off a second year of offering workshops for students to have an opportunity to work on their videos and their day of presentations, and really more so table talk ahead of time. And so tomorrow, March 23rd, we'll have the video creating and editing. And then on the 29th, we'll have communicate with images and visualization. And then on Thursday, April 6th, we'll have explain your project to anyone. And then on Wednesday, April 12th, we'll have a final workshop, really as an opportunity to ask any questions that you may have and address any final concerns that you may have about your video or presenting your project to the community at large. So transitioning into our Design Expo awards. So these 3 awards categories are you are automatically entered into it as a senior design team or as an enterprise team. And so just by you registering and submitting your video, then you again are entered into this category. And so we have first, second, and third place for all 3 awards, with honorable mentions for 4 honorable mentions for our design or for our senior design, and a honorable mention for our enterprise teams. And then just because I know that there typically are questions about the image contest, essentially the photo that you submit for your registration automatically enters you into the image contest. And so if you submitted a photo that you are maybe not so happy with, or that you have a newer photo, then this is your opportunity to resubmit that photo. And the link for resubmitting photos can be found on our our Design Expo website under team information. So if you go to ntu.edu/expo and look at the top right-hand side, you'll see the team information tab, and you'll be able to go to that and find the link and submit a new photo. So in addition to the awards that students are automatically entered into, we also have the Innovation Award, in which we'll hear from Lisa and Mike in just a moment. But we also have our Enterprise Awards, both for our student category and our faculty and staff awards. And so I won't go into great detail about the Enterprise Awards, but do know they do exist for our Enterprise students who are on this call today. And it is based on nominations. And so those nominations are due April 7th. And actually, I think that I have a slide somewhere in here about that. So stick with me. So in addition to the Expo Awards that you're automatically entered into and our nomination-based awards, we also have the crowd favorite. And so with this crowd favorite, we will have prizes for our enterprise, senior design, and student project categories. And so essentially it will be a Google form that will be posted throughout the day of Expo, where people can watch your video, they can come to your tables, they can really get a feel for who you are as a team and vote for you for the crowd favorite. And so this is also a cash prize as well that will then be split among your team members as well. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Lisa and Mike to talk about the Innovation Award. And so I am controlling the PowerPoint, so Lisa, just let me know when you'd like me to change the slides.
Okay, sounds good, Bree. Thank you. Just so you know, I'm unable to unmute my video. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I have the same problem. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't need it. All right, so I'll just go ahead and kick us off. So I'm Lisa Casper, the Husky Innovate Director. Husky Innovate collaborates with the Office of Innovation and Commercialization and the College of Business. And my colleague, Mike Morley, and I are both representing Husky Innovate and the Innovation Award. So basically, this is an award that that we give to a team to basically recognize the commercialization potential of the technology that you've developed. And there's a QR code there. So to be eligible, you have to apply. We do have a registration form, and go ahead and reach out to me or Mike or Bree, or take a picture of the QR code and apply it that way. So the deadline to apply is April 7th at 11 o'clock p.m. And teams that are eligible to apply include enterprise teams and senior capstones teams. And if you've developed a new technology, a process, or a system through your enterprise experience, or your experience with senior capstone, then you're eligible. And so Mike and I wanted to take a minute to kind of walk folks through the rubric. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of alternate between the different questions. So these questions represent the areas that are asked about on the registration form. And so we just want to walk you through those in case you have any questions. So the first one is to talk about the problem that you're addressing. So basically, just tell us about the problem and the solution that you've developed, and what's unique about your technology for the first bullet. And then I'll pass it over to Mike. Mike,
Yeah.
talk about the customers.
Yeah, so this is all really focused on innovation and getting things across the finish line. When we talk about inventions, ideas, to go to inventions and the blueprints get drawn up, but then innovation is really what it takes to get it across the finish line. So that's, I wanted to just kind of back up a little bit and talk about why we're doing this, because a lot of the sponsors have contracts with senior design and enterprise teams that allow them to own the IP. But yeah, so we'd like to find out, who are the customers, and if it is sponsored by a company or whoever, that customer doesn't have to be the company, could be whoever's going to be using it, benefiting from that your solution, right? what is the problem that you're solving, and what does that person, what does that look like? The customer, the person who's going to write a check at the end of the day. Like I said, it could be and likely will be for some teams the sponsor, but not always, right? You can imagine a lot of different end users. So, Lisa, go ahead. You want to talk about the distinction?
Sure. So when we're talking about the distinction, really you're talking about your value proposition, and how it's going to, oh, excuse me, I'm on the wrong question. So so when we talk about the distinction over the other solutions, really we want to know that you've done your homework and that you've looked at competitors to see what is being looked at in this, how this current issue is being addressed by the competitors. We want you to kind of show that you've looked at the competition, and that this opportunity hasn't already been addressed in some other way, and that you're not kind of duplicating efforts, and just really kind of highlight how what you've done has taken it a step further, what's unique about it, and yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then the value proposition is really going to look at how you're making your customer's life better, right? What gains are you creating? What pains are you taking away? And what's going to help that customer sleep better at night? Maybe it's, saving their job. Maybe it's getting them a raise or promotion. Of course, making money, saving money, making life, healthier, right? Curing an illness, maintaining health, those type of things. So that's kind of the value proposition. So just put some thought into that it may be a little different than what you're seeing from a sponsor, or you just have to dig a little bit deeper into that and how it's going to help people at the end of the day. Why is someone going to pay money for that? What are they, how are they benefiting?
And I would just add to that, that we're talking about the what, how, and the why. So, right, the what is the technology, the how are the features, but the value proposition is all about the why. So that's really what you want to not just talk about the technology, but you really want to talk about how you're going to, as Mike said, take away someone's pain or create a gain for them. And so I just wanted to add that way of framing it. So you've got the what, the how, and the why, and you can touch on the first two, but make sure you expand on the why. And I guess we can both cover the last one. I'll just kick it off. As far as your defined plan to move forward, we're really talking about how are you going to get your product to market? So what's your overall commercialization plan? So what's your to-do list? What needs to be done? For example, do you have validated technology? Do you have a minimum viable product? Will you have to license the technology to start a company? Who might be your strategic partners? And who would help you fund the technology?
Mm-hmm.
So Mike, you wanna...
Yeah, so these are all things that kind of get away from the technical aspects. I think that's, throughout the year on the projects, certainly there's some focus on cost analysis and those type of things, but this is focusing on what are those critical steps? What are the regulatory paths? Does it have to be passed by United Labs for electrical? Does it have to be FDA approved for a device, medical, or a drug? You can imagine 100 other EPA, right? So what does it have to go through? What kind of stamp of approval does it have to get for that specific industry? It may be nothing, but the regulatory is one path, and what are the standards out there? What tests, ASTM tests, do you have to live up to. I'm sure some of that's going to be in the technical side, but these are things that you just have to sort of plan out to get it across the finish line. So, and you may not be able, that's not something that you're going to be able to accomplish every one of those, but it's just getting you thinking about what either the next team will take on or the company would need to take on if they're going to launch this product process, et cetera. So, and then what are the distribution channels too? How do they sell? So how are they going to get it into the hands of customers? Amazon? Is it a product, incorporated in their own products? Is it brick and mortar? Is it, there's lots of different distribution channels out there. So just see if you can touch on those. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it does. All right, I'll leave it at that.
Okay. And I'll just add, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to either one of us via email, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. All right. Thanks, Bree.
Thanks.
So there is just the final, this is what the nomination form will essentially ask you. But again, follow the QR code or check out the nomination form on our website, and we'll keep going. Unless there's anything you'd like to add for this one?
No, I think we covered.
Perfect. All right, so for the Enterprise Awards, again, those awards are also open, so they are open to enterprise students, and the deadline for them is also April 7th by 11 p.m. Once I finish up this presentation, these slides will be available on our website as well, and these are clickable slides as well. So either use the QR code or check out the PDF. And so for those awards, we have our student awards for Outstanding Leadership, Rookie Innovative Solutions Award, and the Industry Sponsor Relations. And then for our faculty and staff and sponsors, also have a Outstanding Enterprise Advisor Award. So again, for your enterprise students out there, if you, your advisors work very hard throughout the year to make sure that y'all are in the best position to do your work. So this is definitely an opportunity for you to acknowledge those advisors who, again, are really putting in time to make sure that you're successful. We also have the Outstanding Sponsor Award. So if you are working with a sponsor that is particularly top-notch, this is your opportunity to, again, really show some appreciation and nominate them as the outstanding sponsor. We also have the Behind the Scenes Award, which is really for someone that has contributed to your team, who maybe they are a faculty member who has expertise that has really helped you push your enterprise forward. Maybe it's a staff person or a person who works for the sponsoring company who, again, has pushed you forward, but may not directly work with you day in and day out. And then we also have the Module Master. So for anyone who is taking a enterprise course, then this is also your opportunity to nominate and recognize an instructor who has particularly done well at their course. And so next, let's get into the video presentations and what is next. So the video presentations should really focus on the problems that you tackled, as well as your team solutions, offer some concise conclusion, as well as discuss any recommendations that you have moving forward. And so it doesn't have to be a highly technical video, but also, give your best at presenting what you did, how you did it, why you did it, and what is there to do next. So the video, it doesn't have to be stressful. Definitely waiting until the weekend before Design Expo definitely is something you will not want to do. Definitely consider planning ahead. Consider making a script, adding images and videos. So as you are testing your project, as you are building things, this is a really great opportunity for you to really be taking pictures and video of those things. Consider what software you might use to record early. Definitely recording via Zoom is a great option. And if you have skills outside of that, then you want to start down that path sooner than later. And then also just consider the lighting as well as your recording, like the space that you're recording in, so that the viewer of your videos are able to hear you clearly and see you properly. And then also accessibility does matter. And so this means that you will want to describe your visuals and also add captions. And so once this video is done, then we will make sure that before we post it online, that the captions are accurate and are available for folks who are viewing this presentation. And so we then ask the same of you for captioning your videos. And then just as a reminder, the senior design and project teams, you want to aim for a 4-minute video. And enterprise teams, you can aim for a 8-minute or less video. And so, you don't have to max out that time, but also you might want to take a moment longer than a minute or two. And so it is definitely important to consider your sponsors. And so make sure that you are telling your sponsors that you are creating this video to begin with. Maybe discuss the concept with them and what you plan to share. And just make sure that you are looking back at your project scopes to make sure that you are not breaking any confidentiality or sharing any proprietary information. And just remembering that this video will live out in the world. And so definitely consider any intellectual property that your sponsor may want to keep to themselves, or between the team and between the company. And be sure to, of course, check with the sponsor first, but your sponsors may very well want you to use their name and their logo, but some sponsors may not care that you're doing the video, but would prefer that you leave their name and their logo out of it. And so it's much easier to have those conversations now than to either scramble to either have to remake a video because of a logo, or potentially go through the work of creating a video when your sponsor may prefer that you skip the video or to take, again, out aspects of it. And then again, look over the project agreement before finalizing your video. And so submissions are due April 16th. And so we try to give you as much time as possible to work on your videos. The 2 days before Expo, that's when we're asking for them. And then our Design Expo committee will work to get those uploaded and into the places that they need to be. Again, this does not have to be a highly technical video. When you submit your video, we're looking for an MP4 file so that we can upload it to YouTube. And then also we are asking you to submit your caption transcripts as well. And so this is just another reminder, the 16th is your deadline. And so a part of Expo, you are submitting the video, but there is also the in-person aspect of Design Expo. And so from that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. timeframe, you'll have a space where you can set up shop. So maybe you are bringing the physical thing that you created. Maybe you are choosing to bring a poster. Really what we are looking for you to do is to be creative. Bring aspects of what you have created, but also really focus on visual data and really engaging people in a conversation. And so last year we had a team that actually set up a small activity to do with folks that came to their table to really further the point of what they did. And again, a poster is totally, fine to create. And we do have some suggestions on how big that poster could be and could then be printed at the library. If your team does not have a tripod, those are things that we also can bring for you so that you are then able to display that poster. So here's a little bit about the judging process. Video judging will be remote. And so it will, I'm sorry, it's an incorrect date, but judging will begin on the 17th, Monday the 17th. And then the Q&A with judges is that April 18th, so the day of Design Expo. And again, this is a clickable PDF, and the judging rubric can be found online. So now let's get into kind of the end half of this presentation and talk about what you can expect the day of Design Expo. So your team will be able to start setting up as early as 8:45. And we ask that you are done by 9:45, and that's 15 minutes before the start of Design Expo. We will have a kickoff, which will be both live and via Zoom. And so that is a great opportunity to invite family and friends who live outside of the area to join in on the fun. And they will then be able to look at the videos online and participate virtually that way. There will, and for attire, we suggest business casual or business professional. We definitely invite you to wear your team branded attire or attire, any logoed attire that you may have from your sponsors as well. And then each presenter will have sticker name tags for you all as well. And so the student showcase, again, will start shortly after the welcome in. So ideally, the welcome will be about 15 minutes. And so around 10:15 is when we'll get started with the showcase, and that will last until 2 p.m. Your table location will either be in the Mud Ballroom or the library, either East or Opie Reading Room. And so that is the space towards the back of the library that has either the two very large rooms that is often used, is at the back of the library on the first floor. And then once the showcase ends at 2 p.m., we will go into our social hour starting at 2:30. And we invite you all to come. Please relax and take a moment to really, pat yourselves on the back for the day that you've had. Eat some fun or some light refreshments. And again, have some entertainment, and we'll have door prizes as well. And then at 3:30, that's when we'll begin the final piece of Design Expo with the award ceremony, where we will recognize our student teams and award over $3,000 in cash prizes. There will be a photographer throughout the Design Expo day. And so that photographer will be between the MUB and the library. And so do recognize that pictures will be taken and used in future promotion of Design Expo, or will be used to announce awards as well. So who to expect for Design Expo? There will be judges, 3 to 5 judges that will stop by your table. Judges will review your video often ahead of time of stopping by your table. And judges are not guaranteed to be content subject experts. And so this is where the talking to anyone and explaining to anyone your project will really come in handy. You can also expect the Michigan Tech community. And so we'll have faculty, staff, and just Michigan Tech students who will be in attendance of the event. But because we are in the library and we're in the MUB and these are high tour destinations, you will likely have campus visitors as well who will stop by your booth as well. And then lastly, we will have industry sponsors and alumni who will often come from the area or even come up to Michigan Tech specifically for the Design Expo or for other business that they may be attending during that day or that week. And then also we will have local K-12 students in attendance. And so these will likely be 8th or 12th graders from Houghton and Calumet. And so they are invited to check out Design Expo, and they will have a short activity to help them engage better with you as presenters. And then of course, we highly encourage you to invite your families up if that is good timing for them, but also we will have again both promoting your videos online but also offering the kickoff event and the awards ceremony virtual via Zoom. And so there will be some really great opportunities for your families and friends from far away to also be involved and participate as well. And so with that, that is actually my last slide. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to put a question in the chat. Otherwise, definitely send an email to me at bctucker@mtu.edu or the Design Expo at mtu.edu, and we will happily get back to you as soon as possible. And so we do have a question here regarding the award ceremony. Does a senior design team need to be present to win? Our team has, okay, so essentially you do not need to be present in order to accept your award. So if you are anywhere between first to honorable mention, you do not have to be physically present at the award ceremony in order to continue to win that award. Thank you for the question. So this question is, our sponsor already created a video for our project. Would our enterprise team need to create another one? And so that is a very good question. We do ask that that videos do be produced and feature students by students and by the folks who are on the team. I'm sure that there are elements that you could use of that video, but it is best that it is produced by the students on the team. So with that, we will ask you to produce another version of that video. Okay, so next question, is there a size requirement or restriction for the posters you bring? So no, you may bring posters as big or as small as you would like. If you, the only restriction would be where you plan to have them printed. And so the library large format printers on the second floor of the library do have size requirements. And so you will want to check with the circulation desk to learn what that requirement is. And so from there, you can then make the decision on how big or how small you'd like that poster to be. Yes, so thank you. Thank you for the questions, y'all. Any others? And again, this is not the only time. Definitely come to the library workshops. We will send some reminders about those workshops and definitely get your questions answered there. But again, always feel free to email or stop by the M&M, the back half of the M&M building on the 7th floor. And so we are here throughout the week to answer those questions. And so seeing no additional questions, I think that I will end this presentation. Again, this recording will be available online and accessible until Expo. So thank you so much for coming, and I can't wait to see all of the wonderful work that you all have been working on and plan to present. So thank you and have a good night. Awesome. Thank you, Cheyenne.